So Patrick, it's great to get to meet you here at Rare Bloom and get you in conversation with Alex and the Lace team. So maybe you could both give a brief introduction to yourselves, what your role is in the ecosystem, about NMKR, about Lace.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me again. My name is Patrick. I'm founder of NMaker. NMaker is basically building infrastructure for Web3 products. So we really tried to build stuff that makes it easier for people to come into the ecosystem and just integrate Cardano into their own projects, which might not even be Web3 related, but where Web3 things like NFTs and so on can solve actual problems. And we're very much focused on like the onboarding of real use cases to the space.
Cool, yeah. So I'm Alex Apeldoorn. I'm the head of product for Lace. Lace is a Web3 based wallet. It's intended to be simple, secure, and seamless. And we're hoping to sort of onboard a lot of users onto the platform.
So do you want to go a little bit more in depth about what NMaker is, its mission, its vision?
Yeah, so NMaker actually started as the very first minting platform on Cardano. It was the very first time that people were actually able to do something on Cardano other than staking the ADA and sending the ADA from A to B. And since then we have seen a lot of things and a lot of hurdles for people to actually develop stuff on Cardano. So we went out and built a whole minting API. We went out and built a lot of like no-code tools to just grow the ecosystem. And since then, we're responsible for basically like 25% of all NFTs on Cardano, and we're trying to like grow that even more and just really grow the ecosystem. I think that's what it's all about. Like we shouldn't be building for the same ecosystem all the time, but instead, bring people in from the outside. And I've been very much focused on just talking with companies all the time and figure out with them together, okay, where can Web3 solve some of your project problems, right? And then, in these conversations, we figure out, okay, does Web3 even make sense for you? Because in many cases, it also doesn't, right? And but in many cases, it does really solve some problems, and that's where I see NFTs. So I try to, push the utility case of NFTs and not so much maybe like the collectibles or profile pictures. That was a very good entry point, but now the whole ecosystem is maturing, and I'm trying to, get it to the next level and like really have real use cases.
So, can you talk a bit about those use cases, or?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited for a few projects on Cardano. I feel like Cardano is very unique because it has projects that actually try to build stuff for the outside world, especially in Africa and all these things. And we have projects like Book.io. That's like my favorite example. Honestly, it's like the best project on Cardano at the moment. People don't see it yet, but I'm telling you. Heard it here first. And then we have projects like Neum, for example, who's doing like music things and revenue sharing and stuff like that in that area. And it's very interesting to see like the unique technological solutions that we come up with that actually decentralize and push people away from these like super centralized platforms like Spotify or Amazon and stuff like that. And and we have a lot of like stuff which is currently still under NDA, but it's the reality is the biggest projects coming to Cardano are not public about it yet, and I'm super excited for that. So I think the next like years are going to be incredible.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, for Lace, like we're closing on towards the beta program right now. We're planning on onboarding about 20,000 people onto the platform. But yeah, like the main goal of Lace has always been to be for sort of like the new people to crypto, the people that don't have the jargon and the knowledge yet in order to operate within a crypto space. So it's really intended to feel safe, to be secure, to make sure that you have proper access to your private keys, etc. I think we're going to do a good job. We can do more. We can do better. It's part of the research. It's part of the understanding the user's behavior, how they actually deal with this stuff. But yeah, like it's coming together. I'm quite happy about it. And yeah, I think we're promising to do great things.
That's very exciting. And you mentioned before the talk that you have a lot of UX people actually working in your team on the user experience of Lace, which is really important in my opinion. That's like what we need in this space, because the user experience in crypto is horrible, to be honest.
Yes.
And we've seen that at NMKR as well. Like we also have a strong UX team, and they're mostly from outside the crypto space. So it's interesting to see like how harsh they are with stuff where I say, okay, that's normal. And that's how you need to approach it though, because you need to find ways to make it easier for everyone to come in, right? So I'm curious to hear more about that from Lace.
Oh, I mean, for me, it's been probably one of the most interesting things trying to lead that, because like we have like even our UXers are like quite knowledgeable within Cardano, and like they're super excited about the NFT space. But yeah, like the amount of times that let me talk a little bit more about the process, right? So if you've been to the presentation of Dan, like we're following the double diamond process, where you formulate a hypothesis, we do the research, we test it with users, we build it, and we test it again. But that's the UX flow. And now the question is like, okay, so how do you deal with the actual development flow? Because between the research and the actual development, there's a sort of an undefined bridge, and depending on the project that you're doing, designers and developers don't necessarily get along very well. So one of the really cool things I think about the Lace team is that there's a really, really strong relationship between the developers and the designers, where the designers present their research, they're really sort of like on a feature by feature basis go through it, and like some developers will say, oh, you can't do this, but maybe we can do it like this, or they say like, oh, we never thought about it this way, and how can we abstract this away in order to make it easier? Like there's a really, really nice cohesive like understanding about how that process needs to look like and how we move together towards the best solution. So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm really proud of the team and like how they collaborate together under really complex technological issues. Like, it's hard, and the results are there. That's
I think what I've seen so far really shows that the results are there, and to me, one thing which is kind of like an interesting, in a way, approach to wallets is that you see like two certain types of wallets, right? So you see one wallet which is either like super light and says, okay, every functionality needs to be outside the wallet, and we have like websites to do the trading, we have like marketplaces, etc. And then we see wallets which try to do everything inside the wallet, right? And the way I understand it, and I might be incorrect, but the way I understand it is that Lace is basically being more towards the second one, like having everything integrated.
It's actually a really, really interesting discussion. Like at the start of the conversation, we really had a very strong conversation, because a wallet is basically consistent of two things. It's a vault, and it's the application layer that does stuff for your user. So this is really a question of who is your user. Like hardware wallets are intended for people that roughly know what a hardware wallet is to start with. Lace is not for those users. I mean, yes, we have hardware wallet integration, and yes, we support it, and yes, we will actually promote the use of hardware wallets in the future, and we will have educational material around it. But Lace is really sort of like to remove any obstacles and remove any barriers and sort of come into the system, have the information, because there's a lot of content and a lot of educational material in Lace as well, right. And it's dynamic based on the environment that you're interacting with. So we have content on NFTs, we have content on tokens, we have content on token bundles, we have content on delegation and staking. Like all of that is intended for the pure purpose of like, oh, if I'm delegating my ADA, is it locked? No, it's not. Like, can I still spend it? How do I change it?
Yeah, so as you know, onboarding is my whole thing, and NMKR's whole thing. Like that's our main topic, and we're very excited, or I'm very excited for Lace, because I see all the work that's going into it, and I see the user experience stuff that you are doing, which I think is super necessary. And I know that, every big blockchain has like their main wallet, like Phantom and stuff like that, and Elrond has a super great wallet. So the only thing that I'm thinking about is basically that IOG is a commercial company, right? So I'm wondering like how you're balancing that out, like supporting the community, supporting all the great wallets we have, like Eternal, etc., and still, building something to onboard the next few million people.
As far as sort of like competition goes with the other wallets in the ecosystem, like most of the wallets in the ecosystem are Cardano-based chains, Cardano-based actions, Cardano-based interactions. So what we really want to do is we want to, one, have a really nice seamless onboarding experience, but we also want to take the spirit, the standardization, the character, the security, and all the thinking that we've been doing over the last years towards other ecosystems. I think we can show that we're a thriving community. We can influence other communities to basically do better, and in that process bring people from other communities into the Cardano ecosystem. Like, we're intended to be the beginner wallet of, well, blockchain Cardano ecosystem.
I think it's very, very important that, you know, we grow as an ecosystem and not just certain companies grow. I think that's the crypto spirit in a way, and that's the only way how we can make it bigger, right? It's about really onboarding people. Like I keep repeating that word, but it's true. Like, you know, looking around here, I love being here, but the reality is most projects are building for the same target audience, and that needs to change like a lot. And and I'm trying to do that with NMKR, of course. Like, our goal is really to go out, reach out to these companies, and then target an audience completely outside the scene. That's why we're the first ones to integrate like credit card payment for NFTs and stuff like that, because that's like important, right? Yeah. So I hope we see more of that, and I hope that Lace plays an integral part, basically.
Absolutely. I think by, like, what we really want to do is we really want to enable the interaction. So I think there's a rich dApp ecosystem, and I don't think that Lace is really gonna start creating dApps.
Right.
What we will be doing is we will be managing the interaction with the dApps, and what we will be doing is making sure that when a user interacts with a dApp, they have all the information necessary. It's a verified dApp. It's a security audited dApp. Like, it has a reputation and a standing within the community. It can be individually verified. You don't need to have Lace to do that. You can do it with other wallets as well. But as long as we're designing it in such a way that people will have the feeling and the trust that, you know, like, we're on their side, we're helping them navigate this ecosystem, then I think we're automatically opening ourselves up to mass adoption. We're automatically, you know, like, building trust with people outside of the community as well. So I think that's really what we want to achieve in the end.
It's really about making people feel secure, right? So if they interact with a dApp and they feel secure by doing that, that's a very good user experience. It's kind of the same what we do with NMKR in a way, because we, like, you know, people can come to us, and if they use the NMKR interface, they're 100% sure that they're getting either an NFT or money back, you know. So they feel safe by doing that, and I feel like that's very important. And you know, in the early days of crypto, it wasn't that easy to do that, and especially on Ethereum, what I've seen as well is, you know, you go to a website, the website immediately asks you for MetaMask login, and you're like, oh my god, this is really shady and stuff, and then and all the hacks that are happening and stuff like that. So we need to foster that sort of environment on Cardano to really, like, not throw people away, because if they, you know, if my mom comes into Cardano and she uses Lace and she loses money, then that's the worst thing that can happen, right? Because she's never coming back. So
word of mouth is going to be terrible. Yeah.
Exactly.
And like the level of impersonations, within the NFT space, and just like random NFTs are being created on behalf of somebody that doesn't know that this is even happening. Like, it's massive reputational damage. Yep. If only we would have verified NFTs.
Wow, what a segue. Yeah, I mean, you know, SIP66, verifiable NFTs, DITS plus NFTs, now out, and NMKR Studio, and I hope Lace integrates it very, very soon.
Well, okay, fine. Yes, we will.
Good.
We will.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not like an NMKR project. That's what I like about it. It's we started it together with IMX, and now Atala Prism is on board, and now we're doing this huge project with Atala Prism, IMX, Book.io, NMKR, Summon, and so on. Like, so many people that are working together, and I really love that. I really love that, you know, the whole ecosystem is coming together on one project. Yeah. So I feel like, you know, if we push that as a community, that we have did integration and that we really push Atala Prism long term, and really integrate that quickly into the marketplaces, into Lace, into the wallets, then that's really going to accelerate like just the NFT scene, and we have something unique again, and that's at least what I'm aiming for.
No, I agree. I think the future is decentralized identities, and it's going to make all the difference in the world. Absolutely.
So Patrick, thank you for joining us again and having this conversation with Alex. I think that NMKR and Lace are really kindred spirits in the project of using professionalism to ensure user interests. So that said, is there anything that you'd like to leave the audience with? Any calls to action?
Yeah, I mean, I can just reiterate on what I said. It's all about onboarding. NMKR is building tools to onboard people from the real world, right? And I hope that all the project creators out there are really looking towards just creating projects that are not focused only on the crypto community, but are focused on the people outside and bringing them into the scene.
Awesome. Yes. For us, it's really like we're launching a beta program. Any input that we can get is fantastic. We want to start with at least 20,000 people. So if you register on lace.io, you will be among the first beta testers, and that will tremendously grow Lace as a product.
Amazing. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.